Hi, I'm Julie Thompson, and I am proud to be the host of PCN In Depth, a new monthly series produced by PACTV that will explore a variety of local issues and topics. As a partner to our established news program, PACTV Community News, PCN In Depth will allow us to cover a single topic from a variety of angles in one show. Tonight, PCN In Depth is taking you backstage for what has become a blossoming music culture right here in Plymouth County. Whether you're on the Plymouth waterfront in the summertime or sipping a glass of wine at your favorite little restaurant, there always seems to be a full lineup of local music acts. Cover bands and original songwriters alike seem to be filling the local limelight and even making it to the national stage on competition shows like The Voice and American Idol. But the question remains, what has made this community and others like us a place for musicians to grow, to perform, and to flourish? Our first guest tonight is Sean McLaughlin of 37 Foot Productions to help us shed a little light on the subject of music in the music industry. Welcome, Sean. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure to be here, Julie.
Now, you have been professionally in the music industry for over 2 decades, including some time working out in LA. So I'm going to ask you, and you've worked with people like Elliott Smith and Rush, who I'm familiar with from my age. So I wanted to ask you kind of a 3-pointed question. Why did you come back to the East Coast? What is it you exactly do now? And how are you involved with the local artists?
Well, let me start with what I actually do. I'm a producer, engineer, and own a local recording studio. And I moved to LA initially because I was interested in how people really did this at the highest level that they could. And while I love the work that I did in LA, what I did as a lifestyle was not suited to me. I'm an East Coast person at heart. I'm a Northeast person at heart, and I love New England. So I came back here about 10 years ago and opened a studio in 2006, and since then have been working with different artists and different musicians, helping them get their vision and their songs across to their fullest potential, the way they want to hear them.
So a recording studio?
Yes.
So I bring my music to you, I bring my band to you, I bring my vocals, everything, and I say, I want to make this sound great.
Yeah, as a producer, I get either solo artists who come in with an instrument or guitar, they play piano, or I get full bands that come in with a collection of songs, and they want to hear their songs presented a certain way on record.
Okay.
Or on MP3 as it is now.
Okay.
So it's my job to understand where they're coming from and get their idea of what their music is across, hopefully even better than they heard it in their head.
Okay.
And we do that in a couple of different ways. As a producer and an engineer, there's both an artistic and a technical side.
The art and the science of recording. So talk about that.
Well, the producer side is more the artistic side.
Okay.
It's determining what types of instruments complement things really well and what type of energy complements the song really well. And it's the engineer's job to deal with the science of it. Technically, how do I get that across? How do I choose the right microphone and place the microphone in the room properly and use all the gear properly to get the vision across for the song and for the sounds on the record to its fullest potential.
So if you recorded in a small space versus a large, like an orchestra area, you'd get totally different sounds of your end product.
Well, yeah, that's true. And a good example is a performer in a coffee house sounds a lot different than a performer in a concert hall.
Sure.
It just, the space itself sounds different. You hear reverberation from the walls. You hear the size of the room that someone's in. And that changes your perception of what you're hearing coming off of the stage in a pretty dramatic way.
And how often do you work with local artists, and how many do you work with? How did you get involved with them?
That's a great question. I work with local artists all the time. Last year, I mixed over 240 songs. Just yesterday, I had 2 different artists come in. This girl, Sarah Blacker, that I work with. And at night, I did a string session for a band called Eddie Japan from Boston. So I do a lot of work with artists locally. I would say about 80% of the work that I do is from the New England area.
Okay. So if I had a band and I wanted to come to you and say I want my song to sound perfect because I want it to go on to YouTube and I want to get discovered, is that something that happens a lot?
That's usually not the route. That's more like trying to hit the lottery or get struck by lightning.
Okay, so what is the realistic route?
Well, the real plan for an artist is you do have to have a good recording. You do have to have something because that's your calling card. That's the first time anyone's going to hear you.
Right.
And you need to put a team together behind that. You need to find management. You need to find someone help you book shows. I understand artists book shows, but you need to find someone who can take your 200-person room and put you in a 1,000-person room. And there are steps involved with that, and those steps are best put together by a team of people. As an artist, you're a business, and your business is you. You are the owner of your business as a solo artist or a band.
Okay.
And with that, you need to hire advisors that are going to help put you in the right direction and put you in front of the right people. And the first part of that is when you have a manager and that manager is going out to sell your wares to other people, they need to have a product that sounds good. They need to have something that represents the best version of you that they can. And that's where the recording comes in.
Okay. Now, what's the difference between someone who has a recording for that end purpose and somebody who just wants to jam and play in local restaurants because they like to do it?
Well, there is a big difference there because the goals are different. So obviously, the artists that want to play locally, you can present a little different light. It's almost like performing live in a studio because that's the representation that you want.
Right.
It all comes down to, from my end, determining which way the artist wants to represent themselves, because there's 100 different ways that you could do it. You could take a rock band and make them a reggae band, or you could take a classical orchestra and put them on a jazz record, or you could do all these different things. It's just determining what's best suited for the project at hand.
Okay. Back when I was young, in the dinosaur days, the only way you really ever got your music heard was you would make a demo tape somewhere in somebody's basement, and you would send it to a radio station, and hopefully they'd play it. And then maybe you'd get a label, right? That was it. You wanted to get signed by a label. That was it.
That was the route.
That was the only route. Talk about the many different routes and avenues that people now have for having their music heard.
Well, now because of that, there used to be just that one route, and even that one route, as of 2001, I think 12 out of 13 records failed to make a profit on a major label.
Really?
So even that one route was a needle, it's the camel walking through the needle's eye. And nowadays, although there's not a lot of, going from rags to riches, there's a lot of going from rags to making a living.
Okay.
And that comes down to finding those different avenues. There are different sites, Bandcamp, artists get on Spotify. I have an artist that I was working with just this past weekend that is known all over Europe because of their Spotify plays. They have
What is Spotify?
Spotify, I'm glad you asked.
I have no idea.
It's one of a few different websites that allows you to stream music on demand from your phone or your computer.
Oh,
Not to
wow.
do a commercial for Spotify.
Okay.
But
it's a venue that people can use.
Yeah, and I did find out recently that about 74% of Americans don't know what Spotify is. So it's good to get something out there.
Okay.
And then there's a new service called Tidal that's coming out that's presenting CD quality music that's being streamed on demand. And it's for a fee.
Okay.
But it's worth the fee. If you love music, you can listen to anything you want anywhere at any time.
Sure.
And that's something that independent artists never had before. This group that I work with would have never been heard in Norway or Sweden if they didn't have a service like this.
So that's kind of the big picture of it. Now, locally, there's so many people that just love to go out and listen to local music. What kinds of local music is out there, and how would I find out about it, and how common is it now?
Just in Plymouth alone, there are something like 28 or 30 venues that have live local music of all different genres. And throughout the South Shore, you don't have to go into the city to see this. Throughout the South Shore, there's local music. There are places. Should I name some places?
Sure. Like
there are places like the New World Tavern that have original music.
Yes,
There's Tinker's Son in Norwell has original music nights. Nosh Tavern has solo artists play there all the time. So there are a lot of venues locally that do have that type of performer where you can go hear something new, something you haven't heard before.
Right.
And of all different genres. You can go to a place to hear Irish music on a Sunday, and Sunday night you're hearing a solo performer, and then Tuesday you're hearing a full band. And this is all throughout the South Shore.
Right.
You can go on Facebook and find invites from people, and just find local like South Shore music groups that offer news for who's playing where.
Yeah.
Or just take an adventure, drive out, go to a place, and see if you can find something new that you might not have heard before. Discovery is a wonderful thing. Right.
Do you see our community just continuing this trend of more and more and more live performances?
Well, I hope so. I think it's good for a community to have a vibrant art scene of all different types, and music is a part of that. Sure is. And there are so many great musicians out there. I see them all the time. Yeah. And I'd like to see more of them playing locally. And it's wonderful. It is. It's wonderful to go out to. You don't just go to dinner anymore. No. Now you go to dinner and you get to listen to beautiful music. Exactly. And stay a little longer and enjoy the time. It's changed from like the reactive eating dinner to the interactive of sitting next to someone who's also enjoying the music and getting into conversations and enjoying more music from someone that you'd never heard before. Right. Well, thank you so much. This has been great. I've learned a lot, and I appreciate you being here, Sean. It's my pleasure to be here, Julie. Thank you for having me. Thank you. We now take you to an unlikely place to find music, a farm. The Barn Show at Holmes Farm in Manomet has brought together organic farming and locally grown music talent from all over the region. The fusing of these two seemingly unlikely bedfellows has proved to be a great example of the self-made entrepreneurship that music artists gravitate towards in carving out their imprint on the community. PCN In Depth met up with one of their organizers to learn more.
So this is Barn Show. It's at Holmes Farm in Manomet. This is the 5th of 6 shows this season where we've hosted local music and regional music. The idea was to have like somebody from Plymouth and a farmer on each bill because we wanted to keep it agriculturally themed. I both farm and perform. I played at the first Barn Show to kind of kick it off. My main Barn Show role is emceeing. We've been shocked at how well it's been attended. It's really gathered traction fairly quickly. We've been working with Brewster Productions, who've done sound, and they're co-presenters as well, and they've done a fantastic job. Yeah, so this is our farm stand trailer. We usually sell vegetables out of it, and then I took out a bucket of red paint and decided to paint Barn Show on it, so now it's a stage backdrop as well. And everything that we have set up, we take down, so like the stage and stuff, we just assemble the day of and then take it down when we're finished.
I need an angel to lift me up. I need a devil to bring me home, or else I won't have what I need to return.
It's nice because it's family friendly. Like you look around, there are people from all ages, like kids with their grandparents and then every age in between.
It's really exciting. I mean, there's nothing else like this anywhere around, and to have basically our next door neighbors be a venue for all this exciting music is wonderful.
We've been together me and him have been together for about 14 years now.
Since little kids, but the band Third Lap been together like 10, 11 years.
7 years with our eyes closed. Honey, open the door.
We're funky rock and roll music, right? Just kind of like we want people to party. We're a party band. That's it.
Little jazz, little funk, little rock and roll, all mixed into one.
Throw it all in.
I've never been here before. We're really excited to play here, and we want to thank the Barn Show people and Haley for putting this on. And it's this is such a cool place to be here. Everybody, bring your own coolers, bring your own chairs.
We lost count of the score. 7 years with our eyes closed. But honey, open the door.
It's for the love of the game almost, this is what it's all about. It's people come together for music. It's Plymouth music. And it spreads. The South Shore has started to come to Plymouth they're like, hey, can we play here? We're like, yeah, come and play, South Shore people. But we've been Plymouth to the bone since we started, and now it's all become, come on, Plymouth is this heart of music.
It's local agriculture, it's an organic farm, so it's kind of a nice way to like cross-promote the two things. I think they go hand in hand. So I'm very excited that this is one example of how Plymouth has been blossoming as an arts community. P-Rock
to the P-Rock. Production seems to be half of the battle in becoming an independent music success. The Spire Center for the Performing Arts took that into consideration when presented with the idea of putting a full music production studio in the basement of their performance space. Mark Bryant takes us inside Seasound Recording Studio to explain what a recording studio in the heart of downtown Plymouth could mean for the future of the local music business.
Seasound Studios opened in May, and the first night that we were open, we had an open house. And obviously we weren't tracking anything and doing any music or anything, but it was a great opportunity for the community to come out and see the studio, exactly what we have going on here. It's run as an old-time studio. We're old school. We concentrate mainly on Americana music, rock and roll, blues, and folk music. The Spire building is the new Performing Arts Center for Plymouth, which has all sorts of shows and entertainment possibilities. There's theater, there's live music, national acts come in and record. So because we're in a building such as this, I can also take musicians right up on the stage. So that's something else that we do here, and we really enjoy that because, again, it's to get the community together to celebrate what it is we have going on downtown. There's not a lot of towns you can go to, or cities for that matter, with a beautiful entertainment facility, knowing right downstairs there's a recording studio. Another thing that we do with the community is workshops. I've been recording literally since I was 4 years old. We'll do workshops. 2 weeks ago I had workshops on Recording 101. Some nights we'll have workshops on microphones, different styles of microphones, different types, microphone placement. So people that they may have home studios but not know the intricacies of the programs that they're using or the ins and outs of compression and expansion and things like that. So those are some of the things that we do here as well. We really enjoy that because, again, that gets the community involved and they all seem to really enjoy it. Along with the live music, we also record narration, TV commercials, radio commercials, on-hold productions. One of our clients is HGTV. I'm sure you've seen the home shows and the narration that's done on those programs. Some of that's recorded here, right back there in the isolation booth. The studio has 3 rooms. When we do narration, this is where the people come or the artists, I should say. They're not people, they're artists. They come and they lay their voice tracks down here, the narration tracks. And it's a very, very cozy room. This is our main room, and this is the room where the band's basically set up, everybody except the drummer or maybe the vocalist, and we'll track all the instruments out here. Again, I was mentioning because of the nature of the building itself, we're not just stuck down here. We have 1,000 square feet here, but we have a lot more room upstairs and also next door here in this room here. This is a function room, and this has everything from dinner parties to Tai Chi with Feng Shui, restrooms for the patrons that are upstairs watching shows. There's also a green room here. This is the green room where artists will come and hang out for the night. This is when there's a show going on or a concert, this is where they come down and they relax, they chill. They can have a cold drink from the refrigerator, heat up some food in the ovens. Where you're standing now, this is the foyer for the Spire. This is our original founders. Very thankful to those people and businesses. This here is our lounge, complete with beer and wine. And it looks like WBZ is going to be doing something here, but this is the Spire. And this is where, again, if I have some larger artist, or if somebody who just wants to do a live, maybe an Americana or a rockabilly thing, we get them up on stage and we record them right here, and use the natural acoustics of the room itself to give it that old-timey feel, sort of like Capitol Studios in Hollywood, California. Same type of design and acoustics. One thing I've learned since opening the studio in May is the amazing businesses that are so close to the area that I'm at, and we trade off businesses. There is a music store called the Music Box on North Street, and as you can see, I have a sign right on my wall, we only trust the Music Box with our guitars. It was such a breath of fresh air to start working downtown and meet all these great people that have such great businesses right across the street.
We have explored numerous facets of the music climate in our community. To finish our episode, I am so pleased to present our final guest, local music artist Jake Hill. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Julie.
Okay, what is it about playing as an independent artist that means the most to you?
Being able to share your music, being able to share the songs that you are passionate about, whether there are songs that you've written or songs that you love to share. I mean, that's folk music to me, and I consider myself a folk singer, and that's the beauty of music.
It sure is. Have you always been a musician?
Yeah, I guess I started playing saxophone in the 3rd grade and bounced around to different instruments and started taking things seriously about 11, 12 years ago. And yeah, so it's most of my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you been schooled in music, or did you pick it up?
I learned, I was schooled on the saxophone from about 3rd grade to middle of high school, and then I just was all self-taught after that.
Really?
Yeah.
And you write your own songs?
Yeah, I've done about 10, 11 albums of various music.
Excellent. Okay. How do you contribute to the community as a musician?
We offer something that people want. Perhaps it can improve their day, it can improve their experience of where they are, or if you're recording music, it can perhaps give them inspiration at any point in their life when they need it the most, and right. I think that's pretty special.
Yeah. What are the different types of venues that you like to perform in?
I have a few different groups that I play with. I have about 5 different musical groups, and so it depends on what kind of music you're doing, what kind of sounds you're making, how loud or soft it is. But I really love just a small listening room with 100 people sitting close by and listening to my terrible jokes and awkward stage banter, and then being affected by the music more. But I also like rocking and rolling too, and having a good time. And
do you ever just get together with other people, just jam, just like off the cuff?
All the time.
Yeah.
I mean, in the past month, I've done 2 different shows with 2 different groups in Boston that I've never played with before.
How did that come about?
Well, we're just, we're friends and music, and we just have crazy ideas, and we're like, let's do it. Life's too short.
That is so funny. Now, I've always wondered, what is the inspiration behind a song? Do you hear words and you say, oh, I need to put music to this? Or do you find a tune in your head and say, I got to find words for this? Or is it an event that happens? Or what is it that creates a song for you?
Well, all those things do, actually. No one exclusively. Melody, just noodling around on the guitar and you hear something, oh, that's nice. Or just maybe even a phrase that somebody says, kind of being a songwriter is being an eavesdropper. That's part of the profession. And also reading, I read a lot, and just have a story that affects you, or a movie or anything like that. You have to be open to writing songs. So like all 3 of those things are huge parts of the process for me. So depending on how open I am or how prepared I am to spend time with my own thoughts, which sometimes is not convenient,
right?
And a little bit alarming at times. You have to be open to all those things, and hopefully be able to sit your butt down and be able to
Is there a
write a full
discipline
song.
to it, though? I mean,
There certainly
there must
is.
be, right?
Yeah, I studied writing in college and for a couple of years, and that was really the first rule that I learned that really stuck with me. One of the only things I remember from college was you have to keep your butt in the seat.
Right.
And that's true, because there's so many distractions, and especially today, everything is basically a distraction to creating art or whatever. But that's also the life, the times that we live in, and I'm fine with that. But you gotta sit down and put in the work.
Right. How long does it take you to write a song?
Oh, it depends,
right? Okay.
but sometimes not very long at all.
Okay.
5-10 minutes, sometimes 5 years.
Long process.
Yeah.
So tell me about the song you're going to perform for us today.
I'm going to sing a song I wrote about 5 or 6 years ago. It was on a record of mine called Any Kind of Work Today. It's about 5 years ago. It came out. It's a song about my sister. It's a pretty personal song, and it kind of stemmed from having people ask me, oh, you write songs, maybe you should write a song about me or about my situation. And there's really nothing more awkward than that, because it's not like saying that their life is not interesting or important. It's just saying that I don't want to do that right now, and I don't really know what you're talking about. So it's really writing a song about somebody, and as opposed to writing it for them.
Okay.
And
so this is about your sister.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So thank you, Jake, very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for watching. You'll be able to watch the show on Fridays at 7 p.m. on your public access channel. The show also can be seen on our website, PACTV.org, or on YouTube. Thank you for watching PCN In Depth. Without further ado, we will now present to you Jake Hill.
Simple, Alicia, how true is your love? Run through the fire with your baby in a rug. Simple, Alicia, how true is your word? Nest full of worms and brave little birds. And tell me I'm alright, that the panic soon will pass. How do you stay strong when the thunder cracks? With my white flag up and the day upon my back, I must straighten out my shoulders, for you survived all that. And when my heart cracks again, you'll be there. Simple, Alicia, I heard you cry. 105 fever and you thought he would die. A bluebird face and ghost wide eyes. Oh, I held your hand on the ambulance ride. And tell me I'm alright, that the panic soon will pass. How do you stay strong when the thunder cracks? With my white flag up and the day upon my back, I must straighten out my shoulders, for you survived all that. And when it overflows again, I'll be there. Simple, Alicia, these days are long. I had dinner with the devil and I sold him a song. Simple, Alicia, whenever I get home, won't you make me a sandwich and sing me a poem? And tell me panic soon will pass. How do you stay strong when thunder cracks? With my white flag up and the day upon my back, I must straighten out my shoulders, if you survived all that.